Lex Luthor, Morgan Snickeroo. So much soul, about to bust out the room. All different flavors, way more than 32. From me these shoes, you can't mess with these dudes. Nike Reeboks, about soccer knees. Golden Goose is on dude.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Soul Brothers, hosted by yours truly, Lex Luthor. And today, guys, we are blessed with a guest, Christina Faith. What's up? What's new? And how you feeling?
What it do, play? I had to beg to get back on here, y'all. Listen,
Come on, man.
I had to beg. I had to keep reminding them. It's okay though. I appreciate the Soul Brothers. I'm here. I'm excited. I really am. Chilling today. You know, it's Dr. Martin Luther King Day, and we need his words more than ever right now.
I mean, always, man. That's the main reason why I don't do the whole happy Martin Luther King Day post, because it's all year, entire life. That's how it is.
Yeah.
So for the people that follow me and you don't see me post that, it's not because I'm not in support of. It's because that's all year long. If you talk to me on a personal level, y'all hear me talk about it on the podcast. It's always that. I'm always pushing that. But yeah. How you been? How's life?
It's really good. It's really busy right now, which is amazing.
I like it.
We just finished the Sneaker Panel podcast. Well, not a podcast, Sneaker Panel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm launching a new podcast. Well, two new podcasts this year. So just busy trying to get this content out, trying to be consistent in 2026. For real though.
Yeah, I like it. Well, for the real ones that have been watching the pod, and for the newcomers, we all know this is not your first episode, but for the ones that are just getting here, share a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, listen, use that cover that we had before. I like that. So yeah, I am Christina Faith. I'm a producer, writer, director, entrepreneur. I've been around for a while. I'm probably officially like pursuing it as a career 19 years in, but for real, I started in college. I am a culture junkie. I love culture. It is how we view the world, and sometimes people think culture just like sneaker culture. No, like all kinds of culture. Like I am inundated with understanding how people think and why people think that way. And so yeah, I think over the years I've always loved sneakers. You have to get to a certain place where you can afford it. It's a very expensive hobby. And so it's really been cool to find community online. And experience people in person. And so, yeah, what's up? I'm the owner of The Grindhouse. You can follow us at The Grindhouse Inc.
Yeah, sound very productive. I don't like the word busy. It sounds negative. So I'm going to go with productive.
We never say highly successful people are busy. You ever thought about that? Or that they doing too much? Like, you'll never say Beyonce busy. You'll never say Jay-Z is, he's busy. No, he's productive. Like, he's getting to it. And so I'm hoping in this next leg of the race, people will be able to physically see the success. I'm not a quiet person, but over the years, I've become quiet about the things that I do. Like once in a while, you'll see me pop up and say something. But I have been told I have to stop doing that and just start being vocal. But people be pocket watching all kinds of other stuff. So I haven't wanted to.
Tell me about it.
And I live in a dual world. I am a Christian. And so it's a very interesting place to be in the worlds that I live in. And so, but I'm just going to authentically be me like I've always been. And so I'll start sharing more.
I like it. Well, before we get into it, you say you like culture, so I got one question for you.
I do.
Is there a such thing as sneaker culture?
Yes. And I took a beat to think about it, right? Because I think asking me, is there a thing in sneaker culture is like saying, is there car culture, right? I think because it's sneakers, people demean it a little bit sometimes and say, oh, no, it's just sneakers. No, but sneakers are really, I have a whole documentary on it. Sneakers are more than just shoes, right? Sneakers are a place where people are able to express themselves in a real way. Sneaker is design. And so a lot of times it's demeaned. It's not looked at like art is. But in a very big way, it's a lower currency of art in a sense. People spend probably more time designing a sneakers than you would necessarily doing a painting. And so, I think there definitely is sneaker culture. I think there are layers to sneaker culture. And oftentimes what we're seeing, especially online, is those layers are now intertwining in a way that they've never intertwined before. and access is a real thing, and we live in a world where the barrier of entry as well as the barrier of access doesn't exist like it used to. So yeah, there definitely is sneaker culture.
I love the answer. But let's get into it. What did you have? What you have on feet today?
All right, so I'm literally just in the house today doing meetings on Martin Luther King Day. So I have the Nike Minds on today.
Okay.
I've made a little thread on my Twitter. I'm still gonna call it Twitter. I don't care if it's called X. Made a little thread on my X and said I'm gonna give them a chance. I'm gonna rock them and see. The first time you put them on, they're a little abrasive. And so I've been putting like little notes throughout the day as it happens. I'll probably do a video. I think I might become against doing videos without wearing shoes anymore. Like I might just do like I'm gonna show you what they look like, take pictures or something like that, or a short video. But for me, the wear of them is really important. How they feel on foot, especially after 2020, everybody is about comfort, and so these are really cool. I will say they are in whole size, so if you are already wearing your half size, go up to the next size. If you are at a 7, go to an 8 type thing. Um, but they sweaty. That's my only complaint right now. They're sweaty. I am enjoying them. I'm interested to know what they will feel like after my workout tonight. I'm going to take them to the gym and throw them on after my workout and see, are they a good recovery shoe?
I like it. I like it. I didn't enter for them or try for them. Not really a slide person. I have my house shoes and I have a couple pairs of slides, but not to where I want to expand that collection. Like
I don't have a
my
whole
five,
lot of
but I'm good.
slides. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of slides, but I go to the gym, and so
Hmm.
I need summer slides, I need winter slides. So these are more like a fall, spring, summer slide. I don't currently my when I leave the gym shoes or a pair of Uggs right now, or a
Hmm.
pair of Tevas, and so
Hmm.
But then I have these New Balance recoveries. Those joints really are great for recovery. So I'm also interested in the recovery aspect of them.
I like it. I like it. Well, I haven't really got ready yet, but I plan on wearing the UNC sixes
Oh,
today.
okay. You want to
Uh,
flex today?
I
Flex. Ooh.
guess. Yeah. Hey, it's in the name. They forget sometimes. But yeah. UNC sixes is what
Those
I
are
plan on
fire.
wearing today. I don't know
What
if
year did those come out?
20. Let me see. 20. Yeah, it's got to be. Well, it says production was 2017, so around 2017,
Okay.
2018.
Yeah, those are
But
dope.
yeah, one of my favorite pairs, the UNCs before we got the UNCs. That's the reason
Yes.
why we call those the black UNCs. But but before all that, it was just the UNC sixes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the pair I plan on. But yeah, let's get into it. I've I've ever since our first episode, I've been interested in
Mhm.
the sneaker documentary that you spoke about before.
My God.
Uh,
Yes.
uh, I would love some updates on that. And
Yeah. So what's so 2024 Trump came into office and all of the corporations changed and they changed all of their
mhm,
departments. Comcast was funding for the love of sneakers. We were headed towards a green light, and as soon as he
mhm,
came into office, nobody knew what was going to happen, and that happened along the entire industry. Last year was a very slow year for everybody in the industry. There was not a lot of buying, not a lot of purchasing, not a lot of selling, and so we are currently working on another documentary with Anscape ESPN. When this comes out, it won't be out yet. I believe we'll probably start screening it in April, which is very interesting because a lot of those guests on there, not a lot, but some of those guests on there intertwine. Wrestling and
mhm.
sneakers is very interesting how close they are.
Yeah.
So we say cultures often overlap, and so but this year we're trying to put it back into production. We have something that I can't fully talk about, but I can say we have an equity raise we're doing, and it's a part of the equity raise. So if the equity raise goes through this year, it'll go right back into production. But we're consistently pitching it. We just pitch it to another network. But it's something that I just don't want to. I don't want to shortchange, and
Mm.
so you might see me doing like sneaker panel and other things in order to kind of have more proof of concept that the culture exists and that it's something that people need to understand. And so it 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 trails between culture as well as finance and sneakers and finance. And I'm kind of excited that it didn't come out when it did before, because the resale value has shifted and changed. It hasn't gone away. It's just not, it's not like the stock exchange of sneakers isn't the same anymore.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so yeah, that's still a thing. The sizzle still exists. We are actively always pitching that project. I have somebody that if we can get this person, it will change the game with it. I think he's the godfather of the sneaker culture as we know it today. And I don't think people have actually given him the full credit of what he's been able to do. And so it's a little. It's in progress. It's in progress. It's not something that I have to rush out to do, because sneaker culture always exists.
Yeah, no,
And
absolutely.
2025 really showed that it's alive and well.
See, I mean, that's what I like to hear. Like I said, I've been interested ever since you dropped it in the first episode. So
Yeah.
I'm
Did I ever show you the
definitely
sizzle? I'm gonna send you the sizzle if I haven't seen it, showed it to you.
yeah, no, absolutely send
Yeah.
that. Yeah, send that my way.
I'll send that over
But
to you.
yeah, um, I've never really what's up? It's the main one everyone talks about. It's the sneaker documentary. Everyone's I think for the
The Nike one.
sneakers. I can't remember. I can't remember. Like, but that's
It's
the
a few of
only.
them. There. I will say there haven't been in any. I've seen some. I've seen some, because before I
Hmm.
did it, I started looking to see, did I miss
Yeah.
something. There was one, I think, in the early 2000s that is really known, but there are not a lot that look at the culture the way that we desire to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was, and I definitely feel like you're going to do a great job of capturing that. That's
Hmm.
why I was so interested when you told us about it, and then
Hmm.
you kind of you gave some names on who's involved with it, and I'm like, oh yeah, definitely need to see that happen.
Yeah, and I think also the how shall I say? Also, as time has gone on and the connections have shifted, you kind of like start to see more about who how kind of like things work. So probably like the last year, I've just been in market research, in a sense of understanding the back door of stuff. In a sense, I know when we say back door, people look like, oh, back door. No, like there's a culture that exists behind what everyone sees. I was just with somebody recently, and they were like, oh yeah, I work with such and such and such and such and such and such, such and such. And so it's very much like every other industry where things are vertical, they're horizontal, like the people next to you. And so yeah, I'm really interested. Of course, I won't necessarily reveal that in the doc, but I think
Yeah.
it'll be good to see some of the people that are behind the scenes, that are the ones pushing the culture.
Yeah. For the ones that wasn't here for that first episode, like, what's the concept overall for this documentary?
It's called For the Love of Sneakers. And it's really just how sneakers are more than just shoes. For some people, they're culture. For some people, they're things to express their identity, things that they like to collect. And for other people, it's
Hmm.
about money, right? And it has a global appeal. Sneakers is, if we think about culture and we think about music and we think about movies, while I would say that sneakers became global, the global aspect of it became global because of Michael Jordan, right? It was the first time that basketball was not looked at as just American basketball, and it started to flourish, where it started to transcend the way that people viewed style. And view what they wanted to have on them. One of the thesis of it is, I believe it's the 1990, the Dream Team, the USA Dream Team was the
Hmm.
first time that, besides but in the Olympics, but the Olympics became like a cultural staple for not just the people participating, but culturally, because of those men that were on that team. And a big part of those men being on that team was the Michael Jordan aspect of it. Michael became a global phenomenon. And so it's looking at that. It's looking at how drug dealers shifted the culture and why we like sneakers. So I know that there was conversation recently about, how we weren't looking towards drug dealers or people for style. It's not true. Like the only people who could afford the sneaker kind of at the time was upper class people, upper and middle class people. And for our
Hmm.
community, unfortunately, this is the 80s, drug dealers, right?
Yeah.
um and so it really looks at how all of it kind of intersects in a way that we don't necessarily look at on the surface. And then you have Run DMC. Like there are things that
Yeah.
were happening all at the same time that really. And then you have Spike Lee, who we wouldn't see any of the marketing that we see now for sneakers if it wasn't for Spike Lee. And so yeah, there's a lot going on, and so we take a gander at exploring those in the 3-part series. We're trying the 3-part. We recently pitched it as a one piece documentary to a streaming platform because they don't like series, and so which I wouldn't be mad at. We just would have to get through the story a little faster.
I like that. I don't know where that conversation was held at, but I would love to be part of that one. Because
You know,
drug dealers is definitely where my love for sneakers has definitely come from that.
same. My brothers was drug dealers. I remember the day they came in the house and bought everybody
Hmm.
sneakers but me. It was in second grade. And that's when the beast was awoken. It was like, you're too hard on sneakers, and I was like, so what does that mean? Like, I like fly
Yeah.
sneakers too. Like, y'all walking around in J's and Felines and everything.
Yeah, yeah, that's same with my brother. He was definitely felines, and he had the Forces and the Tims, and I mean, of course, I knew who Michael Jordan was, but I can honestly say that Jordan wasn't the reason why I was like, oh, I need these pairs. Like it was more of
No,
like
it was the kids in the
going out.
community, yeah,
Hmm.
that could afford it. Seeing people on the block with it, like
Hmm.
it wasn't because I was watching, and I watched basketball. My grandmother was an avid sports fan. NFL,
Hmm.
NBA, Olympics was always on the tennis was always on the TV. And so yeah, no, I of course you see what he has, but it's nothing like seeing what someone has on television on somebody that you see in person. And I think that's something that we forget. It's also why influencer marketing works, right? It level sets it like it's attainable. And so, what Michael Jordan has on sometimes, or LeBron or whoever has on, is not always attainable. But if you see somebody that is 2 degrees away from you versus 3 degrees away from you, or 1 degree away from you, it makes it a difference.
Yeah, puts things in perspective.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned your sneaker of the year panel. What influenced that? What influenced you to have your own conversation this year?
Last year, I would say last year. I went
Hmm.
to no 2 years ago. I went to Complex Con 2023. And it was a good conversation, but the panel wasn't diverse. We were talking about the same sneakers. They actually, everybody was in a uproar then about the sneakers. Yachty was cussing Bima out. It was kind of crazy. And I think my husband asked me every year. We kind of like do like a we started, I think 2021, we started to do like a Christmas cards that were culturally centered. We stopped doing Christmas cards that were like, the cheesy ones, and more so like sneaker edition Christmas cards. And so he had asked me, for my top 10, and I was like, I can't do a top 10. And he was like, I
Hmm.
don't think I can do one either this year. And so we did he made my favorite pickups, where it was pretty much all our favorite pickups versus just 10. And so
Hmm.
it went kind of crazy online. People really liked the layout. They were like, oh, this is cool. And so I kind of like had it in the back of my head the whole time. And then when I was at Complex Con, I just started talking about it, and I was like, we're gonna do it.
Hmm.
Was that October? And then I got a couple people to say yes. A couple people flew in and all that kind of stuff. Uh, and it was very last minute, y'all. So this is not my best work. The conversation is amazing, but we did
Hmm.
6 cameras, and we recently just got a new space, 14,000 square feet. So it's a lot going on. And it was a passion project. It wasn't paid for. We tried to get a couple sponsors. If we would have started earlier, people were interested, but they were already committed to other things that were sneaker of the year esque. And I was like, after I saw them, I was like, I wish I had done this earlier, but I just didn't have capacity. But I was like,
Hmm.
let's just do it. And so we did it. And it's about an hour and 20 something minute conversation. It features Tiana Denise, Ashley Simone, Brother D, Daryl Glover, Rick, Unrestricted Vision, Haas, who is Haas is on there, myself, and then Kari sent something in, Aaron sent something in, and AD sent something in. Um, And I really just wanted to know, like, bring your favorites. Don't just bring like your top 10, just bring your favorites. And so I think we talked
Hmm.
about over 20 sneakers or something like that. Probably a little bit more than that, honestly. And we didn't just talk about them from the perspective of this is fly because of this. Like, people really shared
Hmm.
their passion about it. The conversation is really good. I was working on the edit last night, and I think people will appreciate it. It's a different kind of conversation. It's kind of like
Hmm.
a spaces conversation without all the hoopla, right?
Yeah.
Of the going back and forth and everybody getting the mic. And so, which I enjoy. I be on spaces. I enjoy. Uh, but it really, it's more narrowed down. Everybody, you actually see all the sneakers. We didn't talk about sneakers that we didn't actually have. Um,
Yeah.
and then some people, and then you also, because everybody brought theirs, you got an
Hmm.
assortment of what people liked and what they were
Hmm.
into. And a lot of the sneakers that weren't talked about, that people were like, oh, should have been talked about, were talked about. I
Uh-huh.
intentionally picked favorite pickups because we all knew what everybody was bringing, because nobody could overlap. That was the one thing that we didn't want to do. And so I intentionally picked sneakers that nobody touched. And some people intentionally picked sneakers that nobody touched. And so it was really good. Hearing how people got sneakers was hilarious too. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think it's a good expression of sneaker culture, but also kind of like the mind behind the sneaker collector in a sense.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like that's what these conversations are missing, that diversity.
Hmm.
I spoke about it a little when I was speaking on the whole Nice Kicks panels, before this year's,
Okay.
and that's what I was saying. Like a lot of those people are not in those conversations, and that's why we
Yeah.
can end up with the same types of lists, or those lists that kind of seem like to repeat themselves. So
Yes.
definitely excited to see how yours turned out. The pressure and responsibility of a list, I don't really want it.
No, and that's
I don't really want it.
I don't think I don't want that either, right? I didn't want to think about a list. I didn't want to think about, I wanted people to enjoy their sneakers. I think that's really the
Hmm.
conversation that we're having. Like, what sneakers did you enjoy? So some people talked about sneakers they beat down, like not
Hmm.
necessary, which people don't necessarily talk about those. Um, we 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 had people who were extremely knowledgeable on it, and so if you didn't know, you're getting educated at the same time as you're listening. And so
Hmm.
I think it was a good thing. We'll see. You know, sneaker community is probably one of the most opinionated, communicative communities. And so, I think it'll start some conversation.
I like
Yeah,
it. I like it.
it even us, you know, we went back and forth a couple times, like, yeah.
Yeah. Um, what was your overall goal with this project? What was your goal?
I think the first goal was to get people to share their favorites, like
Mm,
pull the conversation away from the most valuable sneakers that you have, right?
yeah.
Because even, you know, I struggle really hard. Even when you were like, pick a sneaker, and I'm like, they're all my favorites, right?
Yeah.
I'm that person. I'm not like, somebody tweeted me yesterday and was like, what's your favorite shoe right now? And I was like, I don't even know. Like, I literally try to wear a different pair, not every day, but I really try to make sure I wear my sneakers to justify also that I have them. So my overall goal was for people to enjoy what they have and not just yearn for what's limited. And that was part of our conversation, like talking about how does limit, the lack of ability to get something, raise it up on your scale, and is it really that, right? I don't
Mhm.
think, you know, I enjoy Nigel's shoe. I really do. I bought it. I enjoy it, right? I made sure I got it. Actually got two pair, and then, you know, sold the pair to somebody else, right? Cuz I was like, I need this shoe. But was it something that was a top 10 of mine? I have the
Mhm.
argument that a model that is an older model shouldn't necessarily be in the top 10. I don't think
Yeah.
so. Cuz my
Definitely.
my nostalgia is attached to it too much. However, I thought it
Hmm.
was an amazing colorway. I love the release, but I think a lot of people had amazing releases. A shoe that we didn't talk
Hmm.
about, that at the end I was like, dang, like the undefeated Spiridons. They was hopping out of helicopters. Like, we
Yeah.
forget some of the things that happen. The bread experience, like we didn't really talk about the breads,
Hmm.
but because something happens at the top of the year, we kind of forget about it 7 months later.
Yeah.
So I wanted people to think about, like, in a 12-month period, like, what's the best thing and your favorite thing that you bought. And so that's the
Mm-hmm.
number one piece that I wanted to. But also I wanted to have a proof of concept so that we can do it again. Right. Also I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that women were in the panel. Um, I didn't see a panel. Nice Kicks panel, yes, they got that right, right. But as far
Mm-hmm.
as like talking head women, not very many talking head women were women that were picked that I necessarily, or the women that I know necessarily, look to for influence, right, in the sneaker
Mm-hmm.
community. And so I wanted to be able to have multiple different types of women. And so yeah, that was kind of like, and then have guys that we don't necessarily hear from all the time. Like everybody know
Mm-hmm.
Brother D, but we don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily hear from him. Everybody knows Rick, but we don't hear from him. And so that was
Yeah.
kind of like also what was in the back of my mind.
How did feel like there's, which I wish
How
we
did I
kind
pick the
of,
people?
no, no, no,
Oh,
no, no, no,
because
no,
people
no.
asked that too, and I was like, it was really just people that I ran into. It wasn't. It
They-
wasn't that deep, guys.
oh, I was
Like,
gonna say so.
oh
I
no,
wasn't
no,
gonna
no.
throw no shade. There's a lot that happens throughout the year, and I feel like uh, we don't get to enjoy the
Yeah,
sneakers. Like I love that we're having so many releases. I love that everybody's putting so
it
much
was too
into these
much.
releases. But you like you said, you're thinking and you're talking sneaker of the year, and you think about, oh man, I forgot about
Yeah,
this. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh man, how could I forget this? And it's not because it wasn't good. It's just like you
no,
said, that was in January. We're in January of next year now, so it's just like, man, I forgot.
I had to do a real assessment in December. I just looked at stuff and I was
hmm
like, what didn't you wear yet? And the stuff
Yeah.
that I didn't wear that wasn't like that I knew was like either impulse or I got it, and because also you don't necessarily can't see stuff in stores all the time. I got it and I was like, I sent it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
sent it back. I sold it on StockX.
Yeah.
If it was dead stock, it went on StockX. If I was like, I don't think I'm gonna wear these, I bought them. Like I had to really
hmm
assess those kind of things. Also because I'm not getting another room.
hmm
I'm not gonna get another room for my sneakers. Right. I got
Yeah.
rid of boxes this year. If it was not a collab box or a box of sustenance, it went in
Yeah.
the trash. Like because at the
Ugh.
same time I have to figure I know y'all some of y'all can't do it.
I can't.
I renovated my house
hmm
and we saw and then I had to take all the boxes that were upstairs and put them in the basement. And I
hmm
saw how many boxes it was, how much room it was taking up. And I was like, this makes no logical sense.
hmm
And I can imagine how other collectors do it, which is fine. I just don't have it in me. Right now, if I had a bigger house, maybe, probably
hmm
not. Because I also, being a collector, you can start being a hoarder. And
hmm
so I'm trying not to cross the line. Like my aunt came in the room and she was like, "Oh, Tina," like I'm just like, "Mind your business. How many you got? Mind your business." And so yeah, I think those are things that I think about as a collector.
Yeah, no, no, that's what, like, that's when reality sets in. I mean,
Yeah,
I try to stay away from any other thing. Like, I'm a big wrestling fan, and I had got to about 350 figures, and I was like, you know what, I can't. Like, I already got this many shoes. Now the other
yeah,
side of the room is, I was like, so I had to sell all of them.
yeah.
Because I had to pick one. I knew I had to pick one because, like you said, logically, it just it didn't
It
make
just
sense. Because
it don't make
all
sense.
this
I
money
be trying to
here,
make it
all
make
this
sense.
money there. I was like, yeah,
Hmm.
nah, let's stick to one thing, and we'll just go to the wrestling events and get some merch or something. But yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
started
Nah,
like
that's
doing like the little figurine things, and then
mm-hmm,
I got three of them, and then I was
mm-hmm.
like, somebody was like, "Oh, I got such and such." I was like, not doing it. I want a bigger
Yeah.
one, and I'm done because you just keep consuming.
mm-hmm,
And so I don't,
mm-hmm,
and I'm the type that once I'm in something, I'm in it. Like I also have probably 700 books on Kindle and maybe 500 books. I don't even know how many,
mm-hmm,
but probably 300 to 500 books, physical books. And
mm-hmm.
even those, I've had to like purge those because it becomes so. Now, moving sneakers is one thing, moving books is a whole. Nobody likes me whenever we've had to move. And so I'm just trying not to be a hoarder, right? I,
Yeah.
if it don't fit in my closet, it can't stay.
Yeah.
Like that
Nah.
kind of thing.
Yeah. I
And it
mean
and it helps me not. It also helps me not to be so attached. Now, some things I'm not going to get rid of, but some
mm-hmm.
things I think about it.
That's my problem. The attachment.
Yeah.
That's definitely
I
my
mean,
problem. I
I'm
mean,
deeply attached to some of it. Yeah.
that's shoes that might not get worn for 3 years, and I know a lot of people be like, I'm gonna sell those, but me, if I can just get one fit off in those 3 years, I find out it's worth it. There it is. I got my one fit out of those three
At,
years. Those are worth
at
keeping.
least at least every 1 to 2 years.
I mean, you speak a lot about the interactions that you have and talking to a lot of people. How do you determine who gets access in your energy when you're being so productive?
Mm, depends on what type of access, right?
Hmm.
So a DM, that kind of stuff, I've never really turned people away unless they're just weird, to be honest. Um
Hmm.
I'm very accessible in general. I've thought about that going forward if I should be this accessible, especially because I'm probably at the point now where I'm actively thinking what would it look like to have an administrative assistant. Um and so I think I'm not, as long as you guys, as the kids say, as long as your energy's not crazy, like
Hmm.
I'll talk to you, right? It just all depends on what we're talking about, right?
Hmm.
Um but also, it depends. I think for me, the level of access that you have to me as a person is based on what do you want? Like, are we just shooting the breeze? Cool. Are you in the background trying to get something from me? Your access will probably
Hmm.
be restricted a lot because you kind of like, you can feel that.
Hmm.
But I also am a person where, like, I tell people all the time. People are like, well, how do you know people? I saw them online and I started interacting with their stories because I actually like their stories. Like,
Hmm.
it's not rocket science. I'm not like gimme or anything like that. I'm just actually a cool person. And so if you do something like, and I follow you, I actually follow you, right? As much as the
Yeah, yeah,
algorithm
yeah.
will allow me to. Yeah, I think it's just really based off of like what do you want. I used to be a lot more accessible. I'm not as accessible as I used to be, especially physically. My husband was like, are you okay?" Because I used to be a lot more open, and I think over the years my personality has changed a little bit.
Hmm.
Where I'm extroverted outside. I'm not as extroverted inside the house. And I'm very much an introvert, probably in the house, if you have to say. Like, my husband becomes an extrovert, he's an introvert outside. And so, yeah, it just depends. There's no rhyme or reason for me. If you want something, I'd rather you just say what you want, like, and I'd be like yes or no.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I also like learning about different people and why and how and all that kind of thing. So yeah, it just depends. Um, and also, just DM me. Like, I will talk back.
I know there's been people um that hit me up and ask me certain questions about certain
Mhm.
things, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I always tell them like, don't believe the hype. There's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't
Yeah.
see or don't know, and it's just like. Of course, I have this podcast and I speak to a lot of people. I sit down and have these
Mhm.
conversations with. But as far as like access, it's just there's a lot of things that I hold on to that I don't share. Like you
Yeah,
get
no, I don't.
what you get.
Yeah, I don't like. Okay, there's something happening that I'm trying to arrange,
Hmm.
and I realized very quickly that I'm different than some people. I'm not gonna say most people, but some people,
Hmm.
because I got the answer to the question almost immediately, and I got a response and the email address, and what are you
Hmm.
looking to do? Um,
Hmm.
and I think sometimes people overcomplicate what's going on, and you see it often. Because I was like, it can't be this complicated, guys. It's not. This is not
Hmm.
what you think it is, and it wasn't. It wasn't.
Hmm.
It really is just relationship, and somebody. Um, People don't necessarily have to vouch for you, but who you're
Hmm.
in relationship with or who people have seen you with vouches for you in a sense, right? And if we're gonna be honest, like, we saw that with some stuff that happened last year, right? If somebody if somebody verifies you, right,
Hmm.
that then tells the next person that you're verifiable, right? And
Yeah.
so I don't necessarily share that kind of information. I'll share it with people who I know can handle the access to the information. Everybody can't handle the access to information. I
Yeah.
I did something this year where I just started offering people things that they said were their barrier of entry, right? And I was like, well, if you want to do it, just tell me what you want to do. We got you. Just tell me what you want to do. No, one person, and I told like 30 people, took me up on it. Like everybody makes things a lot more complicated than they are, and then when they're asked for what when they're offered what they said they want, they don't know what to do with it. And so, do you really want the thing, whatever the thing is, or do you want what it looks like to have the thing?
Yeah,
I think that's really what it is.
I 100% get that. I mean, I think I've kind of been put. For me, I gotta get put in the corner to go after what I truly want. You know, like if it's left up to me, because I'm more of like, does it make sense? What is the risk? Is it worth taking this risk? And if that risk just doesn't seem like it's worth it, then it's not gonna happen. But like if I'm pushed into a corner, it's like, all right, you got to do this. You know, what you said you didn't want to do, then it's like, all right, now I got to do that. And there's been times just with this podcast where it's like, I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to deliver the message like that, or I don't want to, you know, roll it out this way. And it's just kind of like it just happens that way. And it's like, all right, you know, now you in there, and then once I'm in there, I'm good. Like that's the hardest part for me is getting started. Once I get started, I'm good. I'm there, and you know, here we are, episode 103.
Yeah, and I think sometimes I'm that type too. I'm that type to. I'm the type. I don't need to for me personally. I probably do. For my personal stuff, I need to kind of like be put up against the wall, like you got to do it, type thing. But I'm very much so a person that I'm just gonna try it. The panel. I was like, what does it hurt to try it? Let me ask the homies. It's hey y'all, this is a passion project. I ain't got no money. I might be able to give you a couple dollars, but there's no money from this. Let's see what happens. But also, you asked me like, what was my intention? Also, I want to start creating a little bit more culture, community gathering culture in Philadelphia. Right. We do have Lapstone and Hammer, which is absolutely amazing. Brian and the guys, they do a great job. But I think there's more we can do in a sense. To gathering, and I got a space, and so that was also like, hey guys, come on to Philly. 2026 is going to be crazy in Philly, so I'm trying to do some activations in the space. But even that, like, you have to have access to be able to do those kind of things, right? Yeah. And so I am the type where I'll give away free game, but I also realize that you give the game away, people don't know what to do with the game. So it's almost like it's a reality, right? It's like many people buy courses, but they do nothing with the courses, right? You still have to do the work. There's no shortcut to consistency. And it's the same thing in sneakers. Like, you know, people are like, well, oh, how you get that? Well, I know some people that know some people. Or I don't even know some people that know some people. I just went and met some people, right? Yeah. And I asked because I was told, why didn't you ask? So even those kind of things, like I know people who just don't ask, but they have access. What's the point of access if you don't ask? Because when I didn't ask, they was like, well, why didn't you just ask me? And the first time it happened, I was like, you know, I'm just not trying to, you know, I'm not, I know you got a lot. Yeah. Ask me. And then somebody else told me, like, you know, such and such. Why didn't you ask? And so I've started to ask. Because sometimes it's, you know, it's just like, well, what is this thing? How does this thing work? And people do pay attention. And so one thing I always try to be is mindful that if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Right. Versus not doing it. So, yeah, all the things. Little tangent.
We spoke on the panel. We ain't gonna speak on it long because we've had the conversation has been there for the past week now. How did you feel about the list that was put together and completed by Nice Kicks in the panel?
I enjoyed the panel. You know, how did I feel about it? I enjoyed the panel. I think the problem with the panel for me is that we didn't hear anybody. It was only voting. And so it was cool to see the people that we know are hustling in the community, are doing the thing, be acknowledged. Like that part was dope for me. But I wanted to kind of like hear it. And then when I saw the list, I was like, Jay, like y'all just picked all the same thing. I don't know how it's weighed. I think the first, second, third choice thing probably needs to go away because it gives people too many options. And I also don't think you shouldn't be able to not vote because a not vote is a vote. Right. When you don't vote, you're actually voting for the number one thing. Like there's no opposition. But I enjoyed it. I enjoy Y'all was like, do you not enjoy something? Like, is there a brand you don't like? Nah, because I appreciate what everybody does, right?
Mhm.
It's easy to tear stuff down until you build.
Yeah.
When you build, you understand like this is just how their brains logically thought this would work, and it works for them. I appreciate that they wait until the year is up. I appreciate they go get people from the community and they curate as heavily as possible and they take the feedback every year, right?
Mhm.
Um I, there's always room, right? As we
Mhm.
see, there's always room for more. Like there's not people like, oh, sneaker Twitter, YouTube is over. No, I think actually some of y'all need to start making some stuff because there's just not enough, right? We're watching the same
Mhm.
people over and over. And so yeah, I just I don't really, the only thing that I was like, dang, like y'all really picked all the same, like y'all just did the complex con list. Like,
Mhm.
but that's why we did my favorite pickups. Like, tell me something
Mhm.
that I don't know. Because I want to see what sneakers do I need to reach back for that I forgot about or I missed.
I mean, honestly, I really didn't have any, I guess, gripe with it. I mean,
That's a
again,
miracle.
it was a list.
Yeah,
I mean, of course, there was something I disagree with, but again,
of course.
it's not my personal list. Did I? If you look at that list and look at my personal list, it's
Hmm.
not going to be the same. Probably not even close to the same thing.
Yeah,
But I enjoyed the conversations that we have after the list. I feel like
yeah,
when we have the sneaker of the year conversation, it brings out other conversations, and those are the
yes.
conversations that I enjoy. Like, why are we not looking at this brand as much as we're looking at this brand,
Hmm.
or why didn't this get as much love as this got? You know what I'm saying? I feel like those are the conversations that are the good ones.
Hmm. And I think with that, one of the things that I realized in the midst of it is, and I said it on the panel, we're Nike kids. A lot of us are Nike kids, right? So a
Yeah.
lot of our allegiance is to that, but I'm trying to put my foot in every single brand so that I am not just aware of just one thing, you know?
Hmm.
And so yeah, I think just in general, uh yeah, that's where I am with that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Nike is home for a lot of us. I mean, I feel like that's when it comes to collecting, when you talk about sneakers, at the end of the day, Nike is home, Jordans is home, because that's kind of where you started from. That's where
Hmm.
before you ventured out. I mean, like, I love Saucony, I like Reebok. I mean, there's so many other brands that are doing their thing, so many other brands I have
Yeah.
in my collection. But at the end of the day, it's always gonna be that Nike, that Air Jordan. It's always gonna be that.
Yeah.
But don't
Like
mean you
if you
can't
look in the
venture
back,
out.
that's this year's list, right? And
Yeah.
it's kind of, but there's one row that is all Nikes, right? The other rows
Hmm.
are either just Adidas, because I promised myself Adidas is really killing it, and I wasn't fully
Hmm.
paying attention, and so I started paying attention. Adidas, if y'all listening, whoever's handling Wanda Sykes sweatsuits on the Upshaws, can y'all please tell them I'm available because the sweatsuits is killing, like the killing. But I think what you realize is that it's just levels to it. Nike pumps out
Hmm.
more, right?
Yeah.
Brooks and New Balance and Hoka don't pump out as much. However, or the way that we see them come out, like they don't have, they're just
Hmm.
now really digging in our archives, which is cool because now we're seeing stuff that we remember, like, oh yeah, that was a fire shoe. K Swiss is back. And so I'm really a big person on, I like an assortment of brands. I don't like just one brand. Mainly because, every brand has a look on foot with a shoe, with a pair of pants or a pair of shorts. And so
Hmm.
sometimes, you got to venture out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
have a
Nah.
gripe with it. It was just, everybody does their own thing and it's okay.
Yeah.
I love the
Yeah.
conversation, like you said.
I think it was just more of like, I didn't have my expectations high. Like, I didn't expect for this list to be like, oh, you know what? That's it.
Hmm.
We got it right. We got it right. It, like, that was the last thing on my mind. So when it came out, and it was like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
If you think about it, they're there. I think people forget about what brands are doing. Right, they are
Hmm.
there to garner attention. Right, and so if I'm Nice Kicks, yes, I'm going to give you an array of sneakers to pick from. But at the same
Hmm.
time, I want the ones that everybody says that move the algorithm to move it. Right, and so you know, I respect what people do. I really do.
As we've been talking the whole episode about you being productive. For someone that's listening that is trying to get there, where you're at. I mean, you've posted. I've seen you post on your Instagram. Like 10 years
Yeah.
in the making. You had your first studio
I was,
there.
we was backpacking for 10 years before that. Like everything
So
fit in a backpack. Um,
that's crazy.
no, I'm for real.
That's
Like
crazy.
a lot of times I have to remember when people are talking and like we're not having the same conversation. You just start like you're just starting. Like we literally have been at
Hmm.
this for a very long time. Um, yeah, the majority of my adult life I've been chasing the same dream.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what people don't realize. Like, I mean, they
Hmm.
see who people are right now, but they
Hmm.
don't see like, okay, well, they've been posting on YouTube for the past 10 years. Like
Yeah.
this just didn't pop up and they're just now doing it. You're just
Yeah.
now finding them, but it doesn't
Yeah.
mean they just started doing it.
I had my first podcast in 2013. I just stopped, right?
Yeah.
And I think people, but that's also why you gotta educate people. That's why you'll start seeing me rolling out like archival stuff, right?
Mm,
We got a show that we started 10 years ago that we recut
mm,
and we're gonna put out like it's brand new today, right? Not today, but in the next
yeah.
couple of months because it's still IP. Because some people didn't see it, right? And it's
Hmm.
I think just in general you have to just realize like social media makes you think everything happens really fast. Also, 2020, the pandemic made everybody think everything was accelerated.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realize like businesses are falling and closing because of the pandemic now,
Yeah.
all right, because everybody got those 0% interest loans. Everybody scaled up
Hmm.
real fast, but nobody scaled up with the understanding that this money is not going to continue like this. And so now you got Starbucks closing 600 stores, 300 and some not stores, right?
Hmm.
Um, I think about who I think about sometimes where people are like, oh, it's overnight success. Oh, where do these people come from? I don't know if you know Steve Ohim, Karan,
Hmm.
over at DTLR, and Khan.
Hmm. Hmm.
They was hustling together 10 years ago in Philly, right? And so I think that's why I always tell people like it's not about the vertical, right? So sometimes people are like, oh, why such and such got the opportunity? Because they was shooting in the gym with them for 10 years, 15
Hmm.
years, right? They've been with them. Because if you ask me, who do I recommend? I'm probably going to recommend people that are extremely skilled at something, but also that I've known for a while that are going to be faithful over the assignment. I don't know. How do I stay so productive? I think I've just trained. I've also, by the grace of God, number one, and I've trained myself
Totally.
to be productive. I don't
Hmm.
want to work for nobody else. Listen,
I don't
I
want to
work
work
for
for
my,
nobody else. I like that.
I work for myself. I was
Hmm.
talking to my cousin this morning. That's part of why I was late to this. And she's building her business, and they had a little issue, but she's been building for a very long time, so she knows exactly what to do and how to bounce back from what happened. But I've only been 3 years into not having to work another job while I'm doing what I love, while me and my husband are
Hmm.
doing what we love. Like this is the first time where we don't, in the last 3 years, that we don't work for nobody else. Like all the money that comes in, all the opportunities are ones that we've created for ourselves. We finally figured out like how not to have a middleman be a part of our conversation, because a lot of times you have a middleman. If you work with somebody, you got a middleman. And so I think the desire to just keep going, and it's been very hard. I'm not going to, but if I told y'all some of the stuff that we've had to experience, like it there is nothing that has made us want to keep going, right? Everything has deterred us from going. Even what I'm currently pitching, nothing in nobody's right mind would ask for this. Like you really you gotta be a little off somewhere to like think that this is normal. Um, but yeah, I think every day I think about you you learn and grow, and you work really hard and you grind, you know,
Hmm.
sun up to sundown in your 20s. And your 30s, you kind of like you settle and you become who you are, and you start thinking about the future, and you're like, I can't burn the midnight oil like that no more, but I can be more productive. I can be more efficient with my time. And so I think just in general, the conversation about productivity is you have to discipline yourself. Y'all about to see my transformation. I'm eating 1,800 calories a day. I'll be working out 5 days a week. the eating is the hard part. Not necessarily working out, right? I've been working out.
Mm-hmm.
I've done this before, right? I've done it before. I'm still on the pandemic weight, y'all. I got a lot of muscle underneath, but I never cut like I needed to. And so I think
Yeah.
productivity is the same thing. It's consistency, right? Consistently doing the thing that you know will have a compound impact. I don't have to be perfect at it. It doesn't have to be exact every single day, but little every day equals much. And so I think the way that I become very productive is I have a vision in my head, number one, right? That I
Mm-hmm.
dream, believe, pray, and do for. That vision won't leave me. And so a lot of times people move from this to that because they're trying to figure it out. And I get it. I've done it. But I had a
Mm-hmm.
dream one time that this was probably in like 2012, no, 2014, where I had hit a turning point in everything and I had free time. I had got injured
Yeah.
on my job and they paid for me to be out for 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
80%, including benefits. And I was doing something and I was really good at it, but it wasn't necessarily my passion, but I was doing it. And I had a
Mm-hmm.
dream that I was doing it, I was doing somebody else's vision. And immediately I was like, oh, hold on. You have to remember what God has given you. And
Mm-hmm.
so God gave me this elaborate vision years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And number one, I never would settle, right?
Yeah.
For the quick, right? Because quick don't last. I recently saw a study that people who get money at a later age keep it. People who get it at a younger age don't keep it. And so I've
Don't know what
always
to
been
do with
like,
it.
I'll take the slow and long road in order to be prepared in character and in skill when I get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the person that I'll see somebody that I really admire. And people are like, oh, why don't you introduce yourself? No, I won't do it because I want you to remember me. I don't want us to be just a fleeting pass. So I've been 7 feet away from people that
Mm-hmm.
I highly admire, and somebody else go introduce themselves, and I just sit back and I'm like, not my time. I'm okay with waiting my time and waiting my turn. And a lot of people aren't, and I'm okay with building to last. I don't want it. I don't want what I'm building to just fall. And so even in
Yeah.
sneakers, like I know there are faster ways to do what I'm looking to do, but what I'm looking to do is really figure out how to change and adjust and propel a community in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
In a way that some of us we just not on the same time. Like I'm
Yeah.
not worried about seating. I'm worried about contracts, right? And I'm not worried about briefings. I'm worried about
Yeah.
being able to give you the briefing. Um,
Yeah.
and so I
That
think just
part.
in general, everybody needs to know that you don't need to be able to do everything. You don't need to be included in conversation to be validated. Like you can just enjoy the community. And I think one of the cool things is I've found something that I don't have to monetize in a sense. Right? I just enjoy it. Like, why do you do it? I enjoy it. I like hunting for sneakers. I like
Mm-hmm.
figuring out fits. I like figuring out my style. Like even my style will probably change going forward because I looked at some things. I'm like, that don't necessarily look that good on you. Yeah, it's cool, but it don't look good on you. And so yeah, I think just in general, productivity is really about doing today what you want to see tomorrow and in the future. I want to be, y'all see me travel. Listen, I'm tired of renting other people's properties. I'd like to own a property, right? Internationally, you got to pay cash for all your properties. And so
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a timeshare. I want to own it. I want to,
Yeah.
it flex like, yo, I really want to get away. Me and my family, like, oh, okay, it's available on such and such day. And so I think you have to just know what you're planning for, where you're going. No different than when the shoes that you pick, right? When I put
Yeah.
a pair of shoes, I put a fit on. I'm thinking about my day. I'm thinking about where I'm going. I'm thinking about the weather. I'm thinking about how long I'm going to be on my feet, right? Certain sneakers I will never wear to Complex Con again, right? Because I'm thinking about them floors, right? I'm
Yeah.
taking some moving soles. I'm probably gonna bring in an extra pair of sneakers to put in the locker from now on because my feet was burnt, right? But I'm also thinking about showing up for people. I'm thinking about seeing people in person, and so
Mm-hmm.
productivity is not about a lot of people flex. I'm not a flexer. That's just not, I know you flex Luther, but I just don't, I flex, but I don't flex in a sense, right?
Yeah.
My
Subtle flex.
I'm living how I desire to live, and that's so important to me. Like that's the biggest blessing to me is being able to really live how you want to live. And some people don't get it. I still live in the hood. I will be here until the Lord tells me I gotta go. right? Because it's not just about living less expensive, it's about the community you impact and the people you're around, right? And being where
Yeah.
you need to be, and making the decision last January not to move set us up to really have a footprint in this city in a way that neither of us ever imagined, right?
Yeah.
You just heard me on a phone call.
Yeah.
I It wasn't in my purview, like, to have a museum as a client, right? And
Yeah.
so it's just you really just have to keep at what God has put in front of you, no matter how hard it is. Like, walk by faith, not by sight. Be brave enough to keep walking. And it's not easy, but it's possible. And so I tell people, like, what would you do if you could not fail? Like, and that's the thing that you need to go forward. And I'm not talking about finances. People like, oh, money. Listen, money come, money go. I grew up poor. I grew up in a place where, my mother, somehow she provided every year. I saw her tax returns when she passed. My mother never made more than $38,000 a year, right? We never really wanted for nothing, but randomly checks would just be coming because she just, listen, she knew how to find a resource.
Yeah.
And I think about the fact that when I was young, because my mother, because of the place we were in, she let me be a part of the finances, right? And I'd be like, we don't have it. She was like, girl, money come, money go. Like, get what you need now, get what you want now, because the money's going to come and it's going to go. And so I think I've looked at things a little differently than a lot of people. Some people might not understand, but we're at the place where people starting to see, like, people starting to see it. I'm not crazy. The road may look crazy, right?
But it's there.
Yeah. Even last night, I didn't want to stay up to 3:00 in the morning. I ain't did that in a long time. But it was a reminder, you still have a skill, get it done, right? And so, yeah, I think just in general, sneaker culture is amazing because you also see all the different walks of life that people come through. And yeah, it's really cool to see how people have grinded and built their house.
That's one thing that you're gonna get with Christina. That's that $1 million worth of game right there. I'm telling you, that's why the episode is named $1 million worth of games, because
I was wondering. I was like, "Yo, is this like a throwback or?" Oh, yeah. But yeah, even in that, like, I've worked with Wallow before. I've seen how he hustles. It's $1 million worth of game. Yeah.
Exactly. There it is. That is. But let's get into that showcase shoe. What you got to showcase today?
It's hard for me to pick a shoe. And so I'll pick the shoe that I hunted the hardest. I feel like last time we were there, I don't know if I did this one, but this is the Wells Bronner. This is her very first shoe. I took the insole out because it's 6, not a 6.5. And I finally found it. So this shoe still goes for like $2,500. And I just wasn't paying that. And I found it on eBay. Because it's just an amazing shoe that you can dress up, you can dress down. I'm a sucker for leopard and cow print. And so this shoe really, I picked it because I probably hunted 5 years for this shoe. But also I think it was a testament of patience for me, of patiently waiting for being able to get it, but also like a Black woman that is killing the game, and doing it without having to speak. I think that's major. And so, yeah, this is probably one of my favorite pairs of shoes. This is a shoe that I'll wear to. I might wear this to. I gotta go to the State House on in Harrisburg on the 3rd. I might wear these. I don't know. We'll see. I gotta wear a button up.
I like it. Well, the shoe I went to showcase today, because there's been so much talk around the Shacknosis lows dropping. I want to showcase the highs in like this gold red colorway. It's always fun to hear how people talk about certain shoes once they kind of get a little buzz and they're starting to retro, because only the people that's like really been into sneakers have ever been like, oh man, there's some new Shacks dropping, I can't wait to get them. Now we're certainly seeing those people like, oh man, I love those, I've always wanted a pair. And I'm just like, all right, sure. But I got these for $30 at Jimmy Jazz when Jimmy Jazz was a thing. Go ahead.
Those come out this month. The black ones.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hope they is in a 5.5, 6. Those have always evaded me because of sizing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't have the black and white pair. I do want a pair. But I
Okay.
don't know if we're getting the lows. So I don't know if that means the highs are behind it. Hopefully,
I thought I saw the highs. Hold on.
the highs
I
are
think
releasing too.
I
I
think
mean,
that's
it's
what
possible.
I think that's what Nice Kicks did.
I know we got the lows that are releasing, and that's why everyone's kind of like, talking about it. It's that classic black and white colorway. But I haven't heard anything about the highs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought I saw the highs. I'm gonna look while we
yeah,
when we get off.
yeah,
But I could have swore I think Nice Kicks.
yeah.
Anyway, I thought they were the
Those
highs.
Angel Reese. Have you seen the Angel Reese diagnosis?
I have.
I
Let
like
me
that.
tell you.
I like
I got a
those.
call like yo, do you want these? Da da da. Da. And I was like,
Hmm.
yeah. I ordered. I ordered the shirt and everything.
Hmm.
Passed on the release and didn't get us. I was texting him like, "What's up?" He's like, "Yeah, um, yeah, uh, we still sourcing them." And I was like, "Bro, like, you could have told me that when you did it. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
if you're
yeah,
going to
yeah,
do it. Like,
yeah, yeah,
anyway, it's high on. They are high on my list. They are high on my
yeah.
list.
I don't even see available in my size. But
Yeah, they're not. That's one of the reasons I'm pissed. I was like, bro,
yeah,
why would you do? Why would you do this to me?
yeah, it was a little more selective than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah,
Again, that was bad on my part. I'm thinking like, it's a diagnosis. Ain't nobody gonna really be checking for that. Oh yeah, I got fooled
that
real quick.
I well, I think we're in a place where we talked about that too on the panel. Like a lot, we all getting fooled, you know, thinking
Mm-hmm.
that things ain't gonna sell out that are like people.
Mm-hmm.
I think the cool thing is that the stock rose and the resellers are not able to attack the bots as much as they were and killing us. And so now we're actually
Mm-hmm.
seeing like what people are going for. But the thing that you think won't sell out normally does. The metallic fives,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, nah, I can get them. I was at the store. I
Man.
promise you, I was at the store. And I was like, nah, I'll order them online. My husband's like, why don't you just go in the store and just go get them real quick? If I did not listen to my husband and get them sneakers, I would not have got them because I got back in the car after getting them. Everything was sold out everywhere. And so, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you really gotta plan for stuff now. Like if you see something, you really gotta plan. I still listen. Soul Savvy still get my money. It is what it
Really?
is.
Shout
It,
out Soul Savage. We've had them on before.
I have not I have not missed many opportunities with them. Them drop alerts. I know other people got them. I ain't trying to set them up. Click. Thank you. Where is it gonna be? Like I don't have time to be hunting like that. I like hunting, but I
Hmm.
can't be hunting for every store. I
Yeah,
need
nah,
that
I
thing to
feel
just
that.
pop up in my text. Click buy.
I feel that.
So
Well, appreciate you, taking time out your productive day to hopping on the Soul Brothers podcast. Any closing remarks?
no, I love what you guys are doing. We're gonna wait, make sure this. Hey, I'm on Chrome this time, guys.
Yes,
I got a
yes.
mic this time, guys.
Look, I was
Timing.
man. The last episode, I was like,
The
yeah,
last it was
man.
good too.
I haven't had any issues. Yeah, it works out. And then I go to
That
the episode. I'm like,
episode disappeared. No, but follow us on follow me at Christina Faith. I'm at Christina Faith on all platforms.
mm-hmm,
Follow at the Grindhouse Inc. It is our production company, but we run our page more so like a media outlet. And
mm-hmm.
so I'm really looking forward to more people following that in the coming months. We only do positive news, and so if you need some place that only has positive news, we are there for you.
I
Yeah,
like it.
and I'm really excited. A lot of hats podcast coming. The Grindhouse podcast coming.
Look
My
at
favorite sneaker panels podcast coming. Well, I keep saying podcast. That is not going to be a podcast panel coming. It might be. I keep saying it. I don't. I don't need another podcast after this though. But yeah, I'm really just excited to to share with the community and continue to be more engaged. And yeah, it's easy to talk about it. It's a little different to be about it. So yeah.
I like that. That's how we're gonna end it. Well, as I always say, guys, love, peace, and sneakers.
Soul Brothers. Yeah. Soul Brothers. Retro 7, 4 3s, metallic if retro 11 sitting on freeze. They got soul.